the start of this quarantine, I was very much like, okay, this is a restart button, and I'm going to get all of the things that I've always said that I'm going to get done in this time. And what I found is that's actually super hard to do if you're not giving yourself a schedule.
We're back.
We're back.
On the
Quarantine edition. What? Let me throw in some TikTok dances in there. Quarantine has turned us into TikTok addicts, people.
As you can see, we're a little bit delirious, but we're back on the hub. As we said, quarantine edition. We're doing things a little differently, safely from our homes, but we're so happy to be giving you guys some new content. I'm Bruno Seros-ulloa.
I'm Natasha Martinez, and yeah, I mean, our reality is a little bit different than when we were in the studio, but we're still bringing you all the latest things that you should be up on. So, of course, it's only right to start this episode off with check-in for you. So, we have to talk about grocery stores and essential businesses, since that's pretty much the only place that we can be going right now, right? It's like you get ready to go to Trader Joe's. Like, that's the only time you're going to be seeing anybody else.
Have you been shopping that much? Are you doing most of your shopping online and getting it delivered? Have you been cooking for yourself? What's the vibe for you?
Yeah, I've been still going to the grocery stores, shopping for myself, primarily because I felt like getting takeout or delivery was going to be a lot more expensive for me. And as many of us across the country know, that this pandemic has changed our jobs, our income. So I'm like, okay, let me try and be a little bit frugal right now. But my roommate and I were doing some calculations, and she actually like rounded it down to ordering takeout costed her as much as going to the grocery store and making her food. And we like have this thing where every day we'll open the fridge and we're like we don't want to eat another like sandwich or like, something boring. So I have been cooking for myself, a lot of pastas, a lot of tacos, just easy things. But yeah, I mean, I've still been going to the grocery stores. I remember when this first started, it was pretty terrifying to like see the empty shelves. That was giving me a lot of anxiety, and seeing the lines kind of build. But now I feel like I found my times where I can go. I feel like you're either going to stick it out and like wait in the early line, or there's a lull after it opens, like I would say around noon, where not a lot of people are going. And then I went,
guys, Natasha.
And then I went, see, this is why we're checking for you. Then if you go like an hour before the store closes, there's nobody there, which is probably a lot safer anyways. And you can just, you of course run the risk of some empty shelves, but for the most part, I haven't seen too many empty shelves other than the toilet paper aisle or like the paper products aisle,
I would agree with that, yeah. I think it's that like FOMO thing of like everyone thinks if they go late, they're going to miss out on their favorite thing. But it seems like a lot of the stockists and inventory stuff has gotten a lot better. Like you said, when it first started, there were entire sections of Whole Foods that were just completely empty. It's frightening.
Yeah.
Anarchy.
It's become something where I'm like, oh, okay, my fridge is getting empty. I need to go to the grocery store, but I don't want to put myself in that environment. I feel like also wearing the mask makes me feel like I can't look at anybody or even try and talk to anyone. So yeah, it's definitely weird vibes. So my heart goes out to all of those, just not even just grocery store workers, but all of the essential workers, because like you said, everyone is on edge and it's causing people to lash out. On top of that, there's so much anxiety going on right now, a lot of fear. So stay safe out there, folks. If you guys are still going to supermarkets and pharmacies, anything like that.
And like Natasha said, big shout out to all the gas station employees, everyone who's doing their thing out there. It's so weird and dangerous, and they're risking it all. So thank you guys. Keep it locked. We have much more on Scroll Control coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with our special edition Quarantine Hub on LATV.
What's
So,
up?
as you know, we're scrolling on with scroll control. Today's going to be virtual scroll control, and we're starting off with a lot of quarantine celebrities who are actually taking it pretty seriously, and some controversy as well. But we'll start with with the good stuff. People like Kylie Jenner and the whole Kardashian family, who are constantly getting made up and getting their nails done and what I mean. They have all this beauty routine happening. They have really shown some role model behavior in this time. They've stopped all of their extensions and their gel nails and everything like that. And as much as that seems so trivial and kind of silly, it does set a good example for everyone else. And people with this size following, like Will Smith and his son Jaden, they're really promoting the seriousness of it all. And I think in a time where so many people aren't taking it seriously, it's important to have celebrities who have that platform to set an example.
All right, scrolling on something that I know you and I are equally obsessed with, and that is TikTok. Now, TikTok has even crossed the lines of social media because everyone on Instagram is promoting their TikTok. I feel like every other post is like a TikTok dance. I mean, I do it too in my stories. I'm like linking my TikTok and showing off like embarrassing content and just being like, check me out on TikTok.
Which you have a great TikTok, so.
Thank you. But it's really thrived, I feel like, during this time. One, I think because it takes so long to make a TikTok. Have you found this problem as well?
Yeah, it's especially people like us who are perfectionists too. Like we got to get every move and every like hip swing. I mean, it's so difficult. And then you're like, well, will people even like this? Like, a lot of the times things go viral and you don't even know why. So it's like you kind of just have to trust your instincts and go with it. But there is this thing where I'll do the same dance 26 times and I do it right every time, but it's like it's not the way it needs to be.
It's not perfect. No, I totally agree. And obviously we've talked about it on the show before. I have a pretty decent dance background, but when I post these dance videos, I swear, like, nobody cares. They just want to see like the simplest thing. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not posting any dance vids. But speaking of these viral videos going, you have no idea which one is going to be the one to go viral. I feel like it's the videos that you put the least effort into.
100%.
And you're just like, oh, whatever. A few hours later, it's like 200,000 views. Meanwhile, you spend an hour on like a 30-second clip.
On the Savage, like, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
I spent so long now and mine just flopped. And I'm like, well, at least I know the dance now.
I know. But I had a friend tell me, he goes, don't do it for the views, do it because you love it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, that was pretty good actually. Advice. So
I found something very interesting about the audience. A lot of it is, Gen Xers, and they have their own thing happening where it's like a lot of people on the comments. I read the comments a lot just to kind of like see kind of what people are thinking and what the strategy is. And a lot of things that I see are like, I love this person's energy, or she had such a good vibe. And it's this kind of like new age hippie thing that's happening with these young kids, and they don't even really know, I think, the context of it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like they probably, most of them don't know what happened in the 70s and the free love and all that.
Yeah, but they're just saying it because it's trendy.
Yeah, and I think it started maybe with millennials, how we kind of brought back this new age thing, and now they're taking it to this next level. And some videos, they're not impressive and they're not even complex, but they're like millions of views because of the energy, which is like which I found so interesting. Like, no one looks for energy on YouTube. They're trying to get good content. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like on TikTok, like this whole energy thing threw me for a loop. I don't know. I mean, it's new and exciting, and I love it. Wow. Where can they find you on TikTok? We got to let the people know.
Listen, it's at the Natasha Alexis. The Natasha Alexis.
Don't forget the V.
I'll follow you back. What about you, Bruno?
It's Dirty But Delicate, just like my Instagram.
Holla. And LATV has a TikTok too, where we aggregate all of our talents, TikToks, put them all there. So check it out. We are going to take a quick break, coming back with another segment on the Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chelsea Rendon in the virtual house today. How you doing?
All up in your screens. All up in your screens.
Brand new season of Vida is coming out, which is super exciting. I guess to start, just tell us about what your experience was like, because you've had so many different experiences in Hollywood at a young age. So tell me like how this separates itself, or kind of how you felt that it stood out from the others.
Well, it stood out definitely from the jump because the script was so well written, and that stems from having Latino writers write Latino characters.
Definitely.
And
that's so important. I'm glad you brought that up because
it is. And that's the thing where it's so surreal when you're looking at Cruz and you're just like, damn, like, how is this a brown project?
Yeah.
And like there are no brown people buying this.
The brown last name. Yeah.
That was just the biggest thing that I think made the show different, and it made it stand out. And I think that, we hadn't had that before. Where it's a completely brown cast, you know what I mean? Like, I know like on Jane the Virgin, there was at least a few brown writers on One Day at a Time. There's brown, you know what I mean? Like, but this was the first time I think that it was a full brown writer's room.
That's incredible.
And that was really, and then not to top it off, it's also mainly female and mainly queer female, which is telling the story about queer females, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just, I think that's the biggest thing about it. And then, from the writing to being on set and having female directors or directors of color. And then you have, almost all the department heads are women or people of color or queer people. And then, like it just stemmed, and every season it just got bigger and bigger, and this family just was so beautiful.
So for those who haven't seen the show, let me know about your character and a little bit about what she has going on.
So I play Mari La Pinche Chincha Sanchez, aka La Chingona.
Wow. La Pinche Chincha. What does that mean?
It's the bed bug.
Oh, okay.
So it's super like weird that she like uses it, but it's also amazing. But it's because she annoys people with her voice. Like, I'm gonna get you to hear what I have to say about gentrification. You know what I mean? Like, so I love it. But so she's born and raised in East LA, trying to fight gentrification, and she very much sees the world in black and white. You're either a gentrifier or you're against it with her.
So it's available on Starz, correct?
Yes. So you have to have the Starz channel or the Starz app. And you could also get it through Amazon Prime. Like, you could download, like, get the Starz app through that as well. Okay. But that's another thing that's really important, is that as Latinos, I hear a lot of people say that they bootleg it. They're like, oh yeah, I saw it on bootleg. Oh, I got the Fire Stick cracked, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, people, right now, Starz is offering it for $5 a month for 3 months.
That's not bad.
Okay, you're gonna go and buy your coffee at Starbucks for $8.99 for your Trenti blah blah latte with pumpkin spice bullshit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just pay for a month of Starz, you know what I mean? Like, because that's a thing where like, our biggest demographic from the viewers from like the app and from the channel is middle-aged white men.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, whoa, that's surprising, but also beautiful to see that somebody other than our own people is watching it.
Definitely.
But that's a thing where it's like, we have to understand how important our voice is and our viewership, you know what I mean? Whether it's showing up opening day or opening weekend at the box office, or seeing a show on its premiere date at the premiere time and not DVRing it, like, that really matters. So for me, like, I tell people, like, you could only watch it on Starz, and they're like, oh, I'll wait till it gets to Netflix. I'm like, Mama, it's not going to Netflix. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Like, Starz owns it, so it's not, you know what I mean? Like, but I think that's just the important thing. And it's not only with our show, but when you have a show that's Latino based, you have to support it. Like, so it means putting that $5, you know what I mean? Like, don't worry, get the free trial and then cancel, like, once the show's over, cancel that. I'm not saying spend $5 for a year, you know what I mean? Like, we got 6 episodes. That's
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Including the free trial, that's only 5 weeks. So then you good. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I totally feel you.
so it's $10, like, you know?
If Starz doesn't see that they're getting a strong Latin audience, they're not going to want to make as many Latin shows because they want to see that the audience is coming to support.
I watch what I can, not only because I want to support my people, but it's also good TV. You know what I mean? Like, Hentified was one of the #1 shows for like a couple weeks.
So good.
On,
I love Hentified.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was so important for it to stay on that top 10 for as long as it did. So hopefully they get another season. But again, we don't have control over that. Like, as actors, we just are doing our job. And the viewers are the ones that have all the control. So it shows like the studios and the network executives are paying attention to what's working. But again, it has to make them money, and it has to be a success. Yeah. And that's where we as Latinos have so much power in what we see and what we pay for.
It can sometimes be hard to hear the reality of things, but it's also important to know so that you can actually make a difference yourself and do things that will put your community at the forefront, which in our case is the Latinx community. So I feel like I support you in everything you're doing, and I support the message that you're sending to everyone. And I'm so excited. April 26th, right, is the premiere of the...
Yes, April 26th,
April
Sunday.
26th. Everybody check it out. Sunday on Starz. Download through Amazon Prime or the Starz app.
The app, or if you have cable, because I have cable.
Keep doing your thing. Thank you so much for hanging out on Zoom.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Hey everyone, we're back on the hub with our special quarantine edition. And as always, you know, we have to wrap up the show with some real talk. So at the start of the show, we talked about this quarantine and how it's been affecting us socially, but let's get like deeper into this. All right. What are our routines? How long do we think this is going to last? Just what's the reality of staying at home? For me, it's a lot of wine. And a lot of PJs.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very similar experience. I think there are a lot of people feeling bad. I've heard kind of around, you know, in my, at least my social network of like, man, I feel like I don't, you know, I'm not getting up and getting dressed and doing the things that I should be doing. But I found that even though I like you said, I'm in my PJs and whatever, I actually get more done in quarantine because I'm very focused and I'm pretty good recently at scheduling myself. And so this has actually helped me get even better because if not, I'll work all day. You know what I mean? So it's important, I think, to schedule time for work and be very serious and, you know, do that work. Mm-hmm. And then later you have your free time. And so even no matter how you're dressed or how you look, it feels good because you know that you got stuff done.
Absolutely. And I feel like the start of this quarantine, I was very much like, okay, this is a restart button and I'm going to get all of the things that I've always said that I'm going to get done in this time. And what I found is that's actually super hard to do if you're not giving yourself a schedule. I gotta be honest, for me, it's a day-to-day thing. Like some days I'll keep my schedule and then other days I'm like, I did nothing today and I was super distracted and I feel really bad about it. But I have to remind myself that just because this is a good opportunity to do a lot of those things, it doesn't mean that we are really in a mental space or just energy space wise to actually follow through with those ideas. There's a lot of psychological pressures and things that we may be feeling for the first time ever in our lives based off of the like status of the entire world. So if there's any time for you to take it easy on yourself and just pat yourself on the back for the smallest of wins, it's now. Like, this is an extremely serious time, but, you know, all we can do is take it day by day. One thing I started implementing recently is just like maybe picking 2-3 things tops in the day. And if I get 1 or 2 of them done, then I feel like, okay, I did that.
I could not agree more with what you said. Yeah, and I kind of left that out because I've also had those days where I just don't get anything done, and I'm like, oh shoot. But like, you know, it's so important to just be like, yes, I'm doing the right thing. We're all in this together. Everyone is helping each other, even though it can feel lonely sometimes. It's going to feel so good when we get back out there, and knowing that you've done your part, I think, is super important.
I wonder when it opens if they're going to, like, how long are we going to keep the social distancing practices? Like, a lot of states are now saying, okay, we're going to open up pretty soon. We're still going to keep social distancing, which honestly makes me a little nervous. To me, it's a catch-22. I see the benefits, but I also see like how it could really backfire if we're not careful. But we were kind of talking about like, how are people going to act post coronavirus? It's weird when I'm like taking my runs outside or even just a walk, like people will like move more than 6 feet away from me.
They'll go into the street. Yeah, keep your distance still, but just don't be weird about it, you know? I think it's fine to be distant, and I think it's safer that way, but don't be weird.
I'm hoping that when the stay-at-home orders lift, I think people are going to be so happy and excited, and I hope that people do take this time to realize that although we may not utilize that luxury when we didn't have a scary pandemic going on, we now see the importance of just being kind to one another, eye contact, a smile, something. We'll see the benefits of that because we've just been stripped away from it for so long. So I'm sending out those vibes that that's what's going to happen when this is all said and done.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have now experienced the first virtual hub. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you, Bruno.
As you know, you don't know how long this will continue, so we'll keep our ears to the streets, and we're going to keep coming at you with content. And whether it's here in the studio, 6 feet away, we're going to be safe, but we got to make sure you're up on the latest, so we're here for you.
Here for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to follow on Instagram, TikTok, The Hub on LATV, and we'll see you guys next time on The Hub on LATV. Bye.